So Ajith was our first step into sort of physical world products with getting into furniture and furniture subscription. I think it was also the start for us on the journey of access over ownership as a business model. I think today you're going to talk more about the learnings from that.
As long as you're not repenting.
Huh?
As long as you're not repenting on that. Morning. So the good part of having the talk in the morning is that you're not compared with other CEOs who tend to do a much better job. Arun has already set the bar, so I'll have to try and match up with an extremely well-known subject out there where everybody seems to be having an opinion. So I'll try to do that. So thank you, Lightbox, for putting me in the morning slot. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ajith. I happen to run a company called Furlenco. And yes, seemingly Lightbox's first investment into the subscription economy, the access over ownership economy, all these synonyms out there. And in fact, I have to give it to Lightbox because I didn't know these words when I started this company. I mean, little did I know. I just started a company, and then someone told me that, you know, you are in this particular space, and this is how things work. So it's been an interesting journey. Furlenco is now into the 6th year of existence and a 3-year into the funded existence. And seems like we have created a niche out there. But today, it's less about Furlenco. I have spoken about Furlenco a lot in the past. I know Praneeth has heard me as well, so I'm sure he doesn't want to hear any more about Furlenco anymore. But I'm just going to try and see if I can put my thoughts and my observations on the space that we are in, called access over ownership, and what is it that we see here in India at this point of time. But in a more intuitive sense, having spoken to lots and lots of customers, we have furnished around 60,000 homes in the past 3 years. So we do have some amount of insight into how people think about this. You may not see a lot of numbers because that's out there, you can Google it, but this is about the real, what we heard exactly. Why do people choose something like this over actually buying? That's what I'm going to try and touch upon. Things that we already know. India is the land of millennials, the maximum biggest population probably in the world with millennials, 400 million plus. Most of them are urban, they're mobile. Sandeep was mentioning video only. There's so many newer trends out there which make very interesting data points, of course. And one of the key things is that they have a very high disposable income here in India. And you know, they are accessing everything. Jaideep is serving food, there's entertainment, there's designer wear, there's cabs, yes, we are serving furniture. They want everything, unlike a generation before where they had to buy into each one of these products. Somehow, seemingly, with the way business models exist out there, everybody seems to be having access to all of these. And there's a general thing that they want it today, they want it now. They don't want to wait for it tomorrow. They don't want to, it's not that they're trying to save up and use it for later. They want it today. That's the general trend in what we're seeing. So this is what's happening in the past couple of years. Everything that you can imagine where people can subscribe to, they're subscribing into it. These are the famous ones you would have already heard. Jeff Bezos put in his shareholder letter that India is their fastest growing prime market. And we all know that Prime is the way to get into the people's wallet in terms of retail. Ola has around 20 million apparently share passes, which is a different form of subscription. Netflix had their fastest growing market here in India in the 3rd quarter of 2018. Zomato Gold apparently had around 26,000 subscribers. So these are all examples of what we call the word subscriptions. They're all different kinds of subscriptions. You have newer kind of subscriptions where people consume a product. You have our kind of subscription, which is a non-consumable product. You have Arun's subscription, which is more of the toy, the learning toy world subscriptions. These are all various different kind of subscriptions. The common element between all of this is that people, of course, there's this thing that it's a piecemeal approach to the problem. You don't commit yourself to a large expense right up front. It's anywhere between a $15, $20 number per month to maybe around $50 per month. And it seems to be pretty much okay in people's pocket. So cost is definitely one factor. It's easy on their pocket in some sense, but that's not the main reason. People are not subscribing because it is cheap, for sure. And of course, there's unparalleled convenience, but their subscription and the retail economy is head on head. Your Flipkarts of the world and Amazons of the world, the Swiggies of the world, they have made food delivery, retail delivery, e-commerce delivery very, very convenient. It's on your doorstep. Subscription does the same thing. It's very, very convenient. So that is also not the real full reason. Of course, there's options as well, which is also there available with retail. But I believe, and this is probably the single biggest takeaway as to why people subscribe to something. It's the freedom to change. It's the freedom to unsubscribe. That is the biggest reason why people subscribe to something. You know, in a normal, let me just explain that a little bit more. In a normal buying world, people come into the transaction saying that, hey, I need XYZ product. What is the value of that? It's ABC. So let me give you that ABC and take XYZ. That's the normal equation. The problem with that equation is that the customer has to get it right. It's a done deal. Yes, there are warranties, guarantees, and all of those things where they can go back to the manufacturer, delivery guy, or the service person to say that, hey, your product, your service was not good enough, so you need to redo it. But unfortunately, you know, that's a very lopsided equation at this point of time. Subscription is the only business model where the power is back onto the consumer side. The consumer now doesn't have to pay the full price of the product or the service, but he holds the product or the service with you. The company is on its toes to deliver that product, deliver that service on a continuous, constant basis. And why? Because the consumer has not paid the full price of it. So what ends up happening is that the subscriber gets a much better product, much better service over a longer period of time. And for that, he or she is willing to pay a higher price. This, for me, is the single biggest reason why, you know, people don't tell you that. They won't tell you on the face that, hey, I'm subscribing to your service because I have this power with me. They probably don't know that, but inherently, it seems to be acting in their mind that, hey, you know what, I can always get out of this. If you suck big time, then I have the power not to continue with you. And this is the reason for one of the bigger metrics in the subscription business, which is called the churn. Your churn is high, means that you're not doing a great job, which means the customer is saying, I'm unsubscribing to your subscription in some sense. So this, I believe, the freedom to change, the freedom to unsubscribe, the freedom to say that no to you, the power to the consumer is the single biggest reason why people subscribe and why subscription economy is taking off. So obviously the person who has got this intuitive thing that, you know, he has a power is a discerning customer. I call it the intelligent customer in some sense. So they're usually educated, exposed to the world. They are not exactly looking for value for money. Is this exactly value for money? No, they're actually looking for something bigger, which I just described what it is. For them, ownership is a hassle. For me, if I own these particular products, I need to get rid of it. I need to move it around. If it is furniture, they have to. They keep relocating. Today is not what it is tomorrow, so why do I own all these particular products? They know that it's a hassle. They also think that it's not exactly a matter of pride anymore. It used to be a matter of pride in India that you own a house, you own a car, you own all these things, then it's a matter of pride to show off in some sense. But now, the recent age, it's no longer the case. It's as long as your house is looking good, it's looking great, it's fine. People don't judge you because whether you own it or not own it anymore. So it's no longer a sense of pride that you need to own it. And absolutely, they don't mind paying that extra for that convenience that they have. So, and another thing is, and this is another takeaway for all of us, these are not people who are, you know, who can't buy into these products. And I'll give you anecdotal examples. 50% of Furlenco customers are earning above $1,000 per month, and they can very well afford up to $1,000 and buying into these particular products. They choose not to because of all these different reasons. Because they believe that owning is a hassle, owning is not a matter of pride. I have the power with me that if you do not deliver good quality furniture to me, if you don't stand up to your promise of service, I can kick you out of my house. That power with them gets them to stay with us as long as possible. Right? So we are talking about a very intelligent customer who's actually subscribing to things. And the one big question that people ask is that is subscription economy good for the business? And I'll talk about in-house, what's happening in Furlenco itself. Every single customer of Furlenco today pays a minimum of $500 at any given point of time. That's a minimum. On an average, they seem to be paying much more than that. We have something called a tiered structure in Furlenco. There are platinum customers, there are gold customers, the silver customers. The platinum customers, the top tier customers, pay up to $4,000. And I'll give you just a comparison of these. An average ticket size, if you were to buy furniture, is roughly around $150 to around $150 to $200. Depends upon what you buy. These same guys, they can actually go and buy a $200 to $250 sofa. They end up paying $4,000 to furnish their entire home during their anywhere between 13 to 40 months timeline that they are with us. And also, if you compare it to e-commerce, the average ticket size is in a 2-year time frame is apparently around $200 to $250. If you compare it with subscription, they're on an average paying $500. $500 on the lower side, right? We are seeing that number inching up. Every year we are seeing that 500 moves to 600, 600 moves to 700. That's 100% of our customers. In fact, 20% of our customers are actually paying us above $3,000. 40% of our customers are paying above $1,500. That's the single biggest reason. Now, so when the power is with the customer, and if you deliver an awesome product, an awesome service to them, they will pay you enough, and they will pay you much more than what they would otherwise pay. They do not do the comparisons of whether I should be buying into this product or not. The single biggest thing that they value is whether you are good enough, is the product good enough, is the service good enough, can I be with you, and I'm going to pay you a premium if you do that. Right? So I'm going to leave you with that thought, just the 2 takeaways. One, people are subscribing because they feel that they have the power, and just because they're subscribing, they're actually paying you more money. So business models which are built on this tenet, give an awesome service, give an awesome product, you will end up making more money from the customers on a longer period of time. Thank you.